Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs and today I have week 7 in the 12 weeks of Christmas series. Shocking to believe we're already here, but that's where we're at. So here's a look at these cards. I love how they turned out. You can see they're foiled. They're just beautiful. Here, I'll kind of try to show you it a little more. Like they're stunning. So I did create 2 just because I had my hot foil machine out, so why not? So let's jump into them and check out how these came together. So I like to cut my foil down with this quick trimmer. You don't have to do this. You can easily use some scissors, but I find this helps me not to waste my foil. And I love foil. So I don't know why I don't use it more often. Sorry. Anyway, I love foil and I hate to waste it because it's so pretty. So these weird little pieces on the side here, I'll save those for like a sentiment that I can use them with. And then I cut this sheet down to be A2 size. And because I have all my foil stuff out, I'm going to make 2 cards, which you guys saw in the intro there. They're going to be the exact same 2 cards. I just thought it would be kind of fun since I already have the foil stuff out that I might as well do more than 1 card. So this panel is a piece of HammerMill Cardstock. It is cut to A2 size. So it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 full card front. And I'm just going to foil the whole front. I know that I'm going to have to trim it down a little bit because it's pretty difficult for me to get them straight. But I think I did a pretty good job with this foiling. And then I'm going to kind of show you how to foil here. So if you've foiled before, this won't be necessarily all that interesting to you until we do the really cool peel at the end. But for anybody who's new to foil or, just likes to watch the process, this is kind of for you. This foil also, by the way, is Aura. What's its name? It's stunning. I can't even express how beautiful this is in person. Like the video just does not do it justice. And it's like even pretty in the video, but it's not as pretty as it is in person. Like I promise you that. So you saw me plug in my Glimmer hot foil machine. I heated it up until it was ready. Then I put on the timer. And then I'm going to run it through my Big Shot. Now, I use a Big Shot with my Glimmer hot foil machine. You can use any manual machine. Apparently, you can use the switch. I have not tried that yet because I'm a little nervous. So I still just use my Big Shot to do this. But you can, do other things. And I did set that aside for a second just so I could get the next piece lined up because I am doing 2 and because I know you guys would want to watch the peel. So this plate is the full A2 front size, but if you don't line it up perfectly, you do get a little bit of foil not covering the edges. So you're going to see here when I peel it away, there's just a touch on that one edge that I didn't quite get, and I have like a small amount of overfoiling in the center. And this is the Pink Fresh Diagonal Stripes hot foil plate. And as always, everything I use will be linked and listed down below, so you can check it out if you're interested. And this is how I get the plate off of my machine if the little magnet thing can't lift it. It struggles with plates that are this large just because they're a lot heavier than the foil plates that it usually has to lift. So I just kind of use it to drag it off and then let it kind of land on the like heat plate thing so that it can cool off before I put it away. And then my tip to kind of clean up overfoiling is you just use a clean eraser. Like it just lightly rubs off that extra foiling and it's gone and you don't even notice. So that is my tip for it. It works like a charm. I mean, obviously if spots don't foil, there's not much you can do. I don't even mind. Just put an embellishment over top of it. But, completely up to you. And obviously all the results you're going to have to play with because paper will change it. What foiling machine do you have? Like it does take not a lot of practice, but it does take a little bit of practice to kind of get it to be where you're happy with it. I love my hot foil machine. I've found kind of what I need for my settings. So it kind of works for me, but do be patient and play around with it if you're struggling a little bit. And then for the top piece of this, which you guys have already seen the cards, I'm going to use the Holtz Bowtied Colourize. This was a die from last year, although you still can purchase it. And it looks more intimidating than it actually is. I mean, each layer except the bow is only 2 layers. The bow has 3 layers. Otherwise, it's just 2 for each part. And I cut the base out of just that same HammerMill cardstock. And then I'm going to cut kind of I guess I'm going to call them the highlight, but it's not really, it's just the top of the bow, or the top of the whole parcel wrapping, out of some white glitter cardstock, because I don't want to introduce any more color. I love the backgrounds. They're so vibrant, but they need something to go with them. So this is kind of what I wanted to introduce. And I was shocked that I hadn't used this yet. I purchased this last year when it came out, and I hadn't used it. So I don't know if I found it intimidating, so I just didn't, or I ran out of, Christmas cards, because I generally do my 12 weeks of Christmas, and then I don't really make more cards for Christmas until July when I do my, my Christmas in July series. So I don't know if I just forgot that I don't know what happened, but I didn't use it, so we're using it this year, because you guys know I am a big believer in using what you have in your stash, especially dies. Dies can be quite expensive, and there's something that's completely reusable, so why not get in there and use them in different designs as often as possible. So here you can see I'm just going to layer up my layers. I cut the 2 bottom layers of the bow out of that HammerMill cardstock. And then I did cut the glitter cardstock as the top layer. You could have done the 2 top layers if you wanted to. I just did 1 because I kind of like the contrast. But it's completely up to you as to how you want to do this. And I chose to go white because I didn't want the bow to steal the show. I want it to be pretty, and glittery, because this is me and I like all things shimmer and shine, but I didn't want it to compete with the background. And if I had chosen a color, I feel like it would have. There are ways you could have introduced color, of course, but I chose to just go white just because I felt like it kind of fit the design a little bit better. And then this little bow tie piece, there's see, this is what I mean. There's literally only 2 layers for the whole everything. So it's got like a little white layer on the base, and then I'm using the glitter layer as the second layer. So it's really easy to put together, though it does look intimidating. Most of Tim Holtz Colourize dies kind of look intimidating when you look at the packaging, but they aren't once you kind of die cut them and sit down with them, because they are named on the back. Like, it'll tell you what layer goes where on the back. Also, it embosses like score lines in the cuts, so you can see where everything needs to be to make sense, so I promise, if you're intimidated by Colourize, this Bowtied is probably one of the easiest I've found to put together, because literally we used every die in the package, and it's just 2 layers other than the bow. So give it a go if that's something that you have been putting off because of intimidation, and I promise it will work out for you. It does take a minute to kind of get all your pieces together in your mind, but once you get there, it's a pretty easy die to put together. And there are tons of videos out there if you're struggling a little bit. You can always shoot me a message and I'll try to walk you through it too. So then I laid it out how I wanted it, and I do want this to look like a present. That's the whole idea, right? So the foil part cardstock in the background is like your wrapping paper, and then this is just the beautiful bow that's on top of your wrapping paper. That is my idea for these cards. I thought that would just be so fun. And then if you stuck a gift card or something in here, it would literally be like opening a present. It's just in a card. Like, I just think that would be such a fun idea. So I chose to have everything overlap in the center. I thought that would add a fun amount of dimension to my bow when it gets to be centered. And keep in mind, I'm going to adhere my bow here in a second, but I had to lift it off when I went to do the sentiment. And I should have thought about that beforehand, but I didn't. So, I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. At this point, I have no idea what I plan to do for a sentiment. I'm just, creating this pretty present. That's kind of all I was doing here. So I didn't even really consider my sentiment until I was pretty much done adhering everything. And then it's like, oh, am I adding a sentiment? Because sometimes I don't. I mean, you could theoretically do this as a winter birthday present. Actually, you could literally give this away as a birthday card. I don't even know if it'd have to be winter. It could literally be anything, because it looks like a gift wrapped, right? Like, it's not Christmas colored necessarily. So I think that this would actually work for any birthday as well as Christmas. Or this, I think, would literally work for anything you would give a gift for. I think that's just how pretty it is. And yes, I used 3 different die cutting machines. And no, you don't need to do that. It's just because I have them. Like, I've had my Big Shot 5-6 years. I don't even know. I've had my Big Shot a long time. And then I've had the Sizzix Sidekick for a few years now, and the Switch is new to me. It's the Switch Plus. I just call it the Switch. You don't need 3 die cutting machines. That's just because I own them and I don't see the point in not owning them because, I mean, they're different sizes, so they're useful that way. And they do different things for me. But you could absolutely just do this all on one machine. Like the Big Shot would have done all of this perfectly fine. And then that label that I just cut out, that's actually from the Tim Holtz tag collection. I believe they call it a jeweler's tag is like the name of it. It was perfect for this. And I used my Misti to stamp out the, it actually says Happy Christmas because that's the sentiment I chose. But again, you could easily have this just say Happy Birthday or, you know, a gift for you or whatever fits on the tag in a small sentiment that you own. You literally could say pretty much anything. And then I really wanted to pop it up and add a little more dimension because I felt like that kind of gave the idea of like a gift box lid. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but then it kind of looks like the bow wraps around because I'm going to trim off the bow pieces after I've adhered it to the A2 base. So they actually kind of go past where this ends because when I did trim it earlier, I took about 1/8 of an inch off each side. So that gives me a really thin border around the card that's white. And then this kind of end up looking a little bit like a gift box, which I love. I think that's just a really fun idea. So I did bring in my Big Mama foam tape just to give it just a touch of dimension so that it wouldn't be difficult to send in the mail, but it would give it a little more depth. You don't have to. You could easily adhere this down flat. No issues at all. I like to add dimension, especially to a card that's a little, I don't want to call these simple because they don't look simple. Like they're not like a clean and simple card, although there aren't many steps to this card. It's got a lot going on. It wasn't like a very difficult card to make. And the wow factor here is just like, I know I already said this, but you guys, if you could see them in person, like the video just does not do this foil justice. If you love foil and you don't own the Aura foil, pick some up and tell me that it's not some of the most beautiful foil you've ever seen in person. As long as you like that kind of rainbowy holographic look, because you guys know I love rainbows. So for me, this is like the cat's meow of foil. Like it's just stunning. And of course you could recreate this in any colorway that you wanted to. I love rainbows, so I went that direction, but you don't have to. You can literally do it in any color you wanted to. And then I am going to cut off the bow. As I said, I like to cut from behind because I find that for me, that makes me cut it straighter. I'm less likely to turn my scissors in and then cut kind of on a funny angle. So that's kind of just easier for me. And then I did kind of just add that little sentiment under the bow. As you saw, I had to lift the bow up to make that work, but it did work. And then because I can never have enough bling on a card, I did bring in a couple of pearls. These are just like a satin pearl color. They're very similar to the glitter cardstock. And then they just kind of tie it together and make it feel finished for me because I love bling. I love bling so much. So this is the card I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I did do one of the little tags with no gold around it and one with the gold around it. Tell me what you think, if you like that look or if it's a little too much. I only did one because I wasn't really sure how I felt about it. This is the one that has, you'll see here in a sec when I lift it up, that the tag has just a touch of gold going around it so that it kind of helps the little gift tag, like the little sentiment, stand out a little more. I don't know. You tell me what you think. So that is the cards I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you'll leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.